everybody. Welcome back to Game Changers here on the LHSAA Network. We're bringing another great episode for you this week. And what better way to start it than our first guest here, Madison Prep basketball head coach Jeff Jones, joining Spencer Verret here on the LHSAA Network. Coach, it's the weather's getting a little bit cooler. It's still hot at times, but it's getting a little cooler, and you know what that means. It's basketball season. You've had a couple weeks of practice, but is this like the most exciting time of the year for you?
No, most definitely. Start of every season is is new. And this for me is year 16 as a head coach, and they all seem like number one all over again. Different kids, even if they're returning kids, they're a year older. Hopefully, a year stronger. Hopefully, a year better and smarter. But it's just always something. And new players. You know what I mean? So same expectation. At the end of the day, the standard's the standard. But it's another chance to begin again.
You kind of mentioned a little bit about some new players, some returning players. Well, walk us through what you've seen so far. Just a couple weeks of practice, and I'm sure, as everyone's seen throughout the off season, two of your top guys picked up some big offers, right?
Yep. In the off season, William Nelson, who was a freshman last year, had an amazing freshman season. Was first team all district, MVP of our district, and also earned first team all state. Another young man, Elijah Garner, sophomore last year, was first team all district, was all metro, was honorable mention all state. Here recently, they were both offered by 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, by Will Wade at North Carolina State, and last week, most notably, Coach McMahon from LSU offered him at LSU. So that's a big deal anytime a Baton Rouge kid gets an offer from LSU, and to have two of them off the same team is quite a blessing.
Well, those two guys are obviously going to stand out a lot to people, but what about some of the other guys around them this year? What are you looking for out of the guys around them?
Man, we have a incoming point guard that's a freshman, Torrey Boyer Jr. That I think is going to turn a lot of heads. He's young, but he's a kid that has been around the game a very long time, and he works extremely hard. But he's extremely talented. I'm looking forward to him. He'll have some bumps and bruises along the way, but I think he's equipped for it. We also have a good senior group. Landon Epps was our big man last year. Kenny Brown, a senior, been here 4 years. Scorer, good kid, honor student. Cam Avery, who was defense MVP of our district last year. Cameron Avery, tough kid, kind of glue guy for us. And I had a kid transferred in, Jermaine O'Connor. Um, Interested to see how he fits into the mix. And he's improved a lot. He's a sophomore, Terrell Matthews. Terrell Matthews, um, kind of do it all guard. Him and Caden Colbert. Caden Colbert's a junior also for us. And those two guys are probably two of our sharpshooters on the team. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention those two guys.
You kind of mentioned it a little bit. Basketball season, it kind of overlaps a little bit with football, especially teams that can make a real deep run. Um, does that kind of, help you when making the schedule? Like, hey, look, we want to take on teams that are really tough, but we want to
Mhm.
have them when they're at their best, when they get their football guys back. Do you kind of take that in consideration when building the schedule sometimes?
Yeah, because that's why the majority of our schedule picks up the month of January. I think we have 18 games or 17 games in January. We don't play much in November. December's a few tournaments. So yeah, all that's taken into account when you're making your schedule. In
And not just
addition,
that.
in addition to me, I mean, I'm the athletic director and assistant principal, so I got to go to football games too. So I can't really play anyway. So we in November we make it four games in November, four maybe five. So I'm in that same boat, but yeah, it I have to take that into account when making the schedule.
And the last question I have for you, I feel like last year, a lot of Louisiana teams played some Texas teams.
Hmm.
Obviously, there's kind of always been that Louisiana Texas rivalry, but
Hmm.
does that resume this year? Are we going to see a lot of Louisiana teams continuing to take on some Texas teams?
Yeah, you will. I know we're gonna do some stuff. I know Zachary does stuff. Um, a lot of teams across this city, man, Catholic High, I know they go to Illinois this year. I think going out of town. Zachary, I think they're down in Austin or so. I know they're out of town. Um, Calvary Baptist, I don't know, but we're going to stay in the Baton Rouge area. We're going to Duncanville this year, Hoop Fest. We're going to go out there, and then we're going to go to Texarkana the week after that. Um, that's kind of our way of going and seeing some of these other people and some of these other outstanding programs. It's always good to test what your good is against someone else's good. So I've always enjoyed doing that. So yes, you'll see more of that. And like I said, we're not the only one. A lot of teams are traveling more and more, and it's good because, like I said, you get to play some outstanding people from other parts of the country, but it's also a time for your guys to bond and be out on that road together and, take those experiences and the things learned and bring that back and try to make a deep run down the Burton Coliseum.
Well, Coach, we thank you for joining us here on the LHSA Network and Game Changers. Don't go anywhere. We've got more for you after this break.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
So it's going to come down to this.
Can they do it?
Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute! There's a flag on the play!
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
The LHSAA Network TV app features a 24/7 live channel as well as on-demand content with all the high school sports you want, and it's totally free. The app is available for download on TV-connected devices, including Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. It's the only place where every day is game day. Download the LHSAA Network TV app today.
Welcome back to Game Changers here on the LHSA Network. I'm your host, Spencer Verret, joined now by Westminster Christian Opelousas volleyball head coach Keith Leon, whose team is 28-7 and sits atop the power rankings in Division 5. Coach, we're just a couple weeks away from the end of the season, and the Cajun Dome, it kind of is. I know it's far away, and it's not something you're thinking about now, but you're almost there. But let's just start with this year. I mean, you lost a lot off of last year's team, and this team is still up there and fighting at the top of the power rankings and beating some big teams as well, right?
Yes. We lost some quality players last year. We had 3 All-State players that we lost. Anna Ware, Bethany Stutes, and Christian Thomas. 2 of them right now playing college ball. It's an adjustment. Early in the year was a big adjustment, but I think our girls are making that adjustment. I have 1 senior right now, so that's promising for us in the future. But this year they're starting to pull things together, and we're 28-7. We lost to some quality teams, but we were right there with them. It could have went either way.
Walk me through this roster this year. Some of the girls that have stood out so far, like you said, really young, right?
Yeah, I can't just pick out one. I got to pick them out all, because Anna Camille Melanson, she's a junior. She's outside starting for me. This is her 3rd year starting for me. Layla Gauthier, she's our only senior. Big pounder on the outside, leading us in kills this year. Our 2 right sides are pretty dominant this year with Sophia Wiltz and Sarah Abrams. And then in the middle, I have 2 young girls. I have a sophomore, London Pickney, she's just killing it. And then this freshman coming in, Taylor Lazard, she's just filling that role like, no other. She started off slow, but now she's ending with a bang. She's doing well. Now on the defensive end, I have Isabel Guy, she's our libero. And then I have Kennedy Richard. She's our DS, which could be a libero either way. She's phenomenal in the back row. And then I have MK Fontenot that we fill in as a DS that's doing an awesome job. And then we have our new setters. Marley. She had tore her ACL, and this year she came back, and she's doing a phenomenal job. Sophia sets 2 on the right side, and then I have Aiden fills in every once in a while and sets for us. So it's a good quality team, and only lose one of those next year. And she's a big one, but filling one spot instead of 3 all-state spots is a lot easier.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it, right? You look at the end of last year. You're sitting there, you're probably looking at you're like, all right, I'm gonna lose 3 all-state players. I got a lot to replace. When did it kind of hit you, like, hey, we're going to be a really good team. Like, people are going to really be sleeping on us throughout the year thinking, they lost too much off of last year. But you probably saw it from maybe even before the season that you were like, hey, we're still going to be a really, really good team.
Yeah, I knew we were going to have a lot of athletes. I just felt like we just needed to pull it together. And the difference between this team and last year's team is we had the big middle, Bethany, and our setter, and the libero. But the big middle was a big. We got the ball to her a lot in the middle, but now we're spreading the ball around, so we got all these athletes in the front that we could feed anyone at any time. So.
It's right there. The playoffs are right there. As you enter that sort of playoffs, as a coach, does your mindset change at all? Does it kind of change from, preparing for multiple games a week to obviously only preparing for a few, and at that point, you can kind of throw records out the window. You kind of throw seedings, especially whenever you get to the state tournament, right?
Right. And I tell our girls that every year. Once we start the playoffs, it's a new season. We're starting from scratch. So whatever we did back then, we got to just forget about it, and we're starting over again, because then we're preparing for different teams that we haven't played this year. All those teams we probably haven't played this year that we're going to face in the playoffs.
You're not just the volleyball coach at Westminster Christian Opelousas. You're the athletic director as well. Does that add like another challenge? Obviously, the football teams are having a really successful year this year.
It does. It adds because I'm trying to do football, cross country, swim, and then I'm actually coaching the volleyball team. So it puts a lot of pressure on me. Fall is like the busiest time of the year for me. But our football team is, man, they're doing a great job this year. They're 6-0. Have a chance to go undefeated. I think the last time they went undefeated was in 2011. So, and the last time they won district was 2016, and right now we at least got a share of the district title. So, and we got a tough district.
Well, Coach, we thank you for joining us here on Game Changers on the LHSAA Network. Don't go anywhere. We've got 2 more segments for you coming after this break.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The start of school means the start of new sports seasons, which unfortunately can mean injuries. Too often, sports injuries are treated with opioids, leading to addiction among our youth. And drug addictions can cause overdoses and deaths. If you're injured, ask your doctor for medicines and therapies that don't use opioids. And if you're struggling with opioid addiction, we can offer treatment. Opioid addiction is a losing game. You can help. Learn more at realhelpvr.com. That's realhelpvr.com.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
Welcome back to Game Changers here on the LHSAA Network. I'm your host, Spencer Verret, joined now by Simpson girls basketball head coach Lynsey Rachal, the defending champs in Class C. Coach, it's kind of getting to that time. You know, we're starting up a new season here soon of basketball. The excitement in the state for hoops is coming back. What you've kind of how the off season's been. I guess we'll start there.
This summer was a lot different for us than previous summers. Previous summers, I pretty much packed full. June and May, we were traveling because we were still building. This year, we focused more on our fundamentals and just sharpening our habits.
It wasn't just basketball we saw your team either. I remember we walked out for the track meet, and sure enough, your whole team was out there running track.
Yes.
Does that kind of help them kind of hone their skills, like in terms of fitness and getting ready for the summer of basketball?
I'm a big advocate for multi-sports. We're in a K through 12 small Class C school, so we have to share. I don't always like to share. I have some of my girls running cross country right now, which is running parallel to basketball. Softball started. We won the state championship on Friday, and on Monday they played a softball game. So they're coming straight from me to play in softball, and then I'm plucking them from softball to run track. We just piece it all together, honestly.
Talk to me about some of the players that have stood out to you this summer, throughout the offseason and even through the first couple weeks of practice.
So I have a pretty stout lineup. I'm not trying to brag, but any of my 5 starters at any given night can score in double figures, pull a double-double, and I'm honestly, that's 1 through 5. And then I have several coming off the bench that are giving me good minutes, good points, stepping in, playing hard defense for me. All right, I have Olivia Edwards, point guard, Cody Miller, point guard, Hallie Rollins, center, Bella Honeycutt, power forward, and Ashlyn Elaine's a shooting guard. Like I said, 2 of those are seniors this year, 2 are juniors, and 1 will be a sophomore. And if you watched any of last year, I don't know how many games you tuned into us, it's a roller coaster. If you shut down one of my point guards, the other one's going to step up, and they're going to fill that void. So whenever you say, top players, tell me which night you're talking about.
Well, I feel like that really helps a lot.
Okay.
And not just that. Last year, what y'all did at Simpson was incredible to watch. And especially when you make it to the state tournament, you end up winning the state tournament. The turnaround from that, though, you already mentioned some of them went straight to playing softball. But
Yes, I did.
When did it kind of click that, hey, look, it's time for us to get back to work and trying to go win another one since we return everyone?
Well, we put a lot of work in. Whenever summer month starts towards the end of May and all of June, we start putting in the work. We aren't practicing as much, but we're playing games and we're trying to start piecing things together. We're honestly just playing pickup every single day, it seems like. In August is when we get our mind right. That's when the non-negotiables start. You're here every day, I'm here every day. And one thing people can never say about me or my team is that we don't work hard. And I want to say that working hard covers a multitude of anything else that we could be lacking in skill, fundamentals. If you just work hard, you're going to be successful.
And there's a lot of talk in the state about, well, football's so big here and every school cares about football. And when people mention that, I'm like, listen, football's huge for a lot of schools around the state. But you've got to see some of these small school basketball programs and the
That's
support,
right.
the care that the community shows for them. You're with one of those programs in Simpson. What's it
That's
like
correct.
coaching at that kind of small school level?
I'm going to say that I have an advantage over larger schools in some ways, and then I'm also at a disadvantage in other ways. Coaching staff, I would say, some larger schools, they have trainers. They have people working out in the weight room with the kids. I am a one-stop shop. I have my stepdad as my assistant coach, and my other assistant coach, he also helps with the boys. And we also coach multiple sports, so I'm our track coach as well. So I'm, like I say, one-stop shop. I'm coaching 5th and 6th grade. I'm coaching junior high, and I'm coaching high school and JV. The benefit to that is I start seeing kids in 3rd and 4th grade. Some of my 4th graders play on 5th and 6th for elementary with me, and they start buying into the program. They want to be, they want to be a Lady Bronco early on. They see what we're doing, and I start pulling them, and you just start piecing them together a lot earlier. I've talked to coaches from larger schools, and they've told me, how are you building your program? Because we built from the ground up. I started, this is my 8th year, and we literally built from the ground up. I was pulling cheerleaders to come play for me that had never played before. I was starting 7th graders, and all the girls that are on my lineup right now, they came to me as 7th graders, some as managers in 6th grade. So, they were carrying our balls and filming games, but they were a part. So they started buying in really, really, really early. And then by the time it was their time to play, they were ready to go. They knew, they knew what I expected of them because they had seen it for years prior.
Well, Coach, I think you just gave us a perfect representation of what small school basketball is like. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't go anywhere. We've got more coming up for you on Game Changers after this break.
Thank you so much.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
At Breck Golf Courses, we focus on the highest level of play. That means award-winning courses, state-of-the-art practice facilities, unique shot-making opportunities, and tournament-level playing experiences. With 2 championship courses located in the parish, Beaver Creek and Santa Maria courses make the perfect setting to test your golf skills. Find your next hole-in-one with Breck Golf.
So it's going to come down to this.
Can they do it?
Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute! There's a flag on the play!
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Welcome back to Game Changers here on the LHSAA Network. I'm your host, Spencer Verret, joined now by Parkway cross country coach and legend himself, Kent Falting. Coach, it's kind of at the end of the season a little bit. We're reaching up to district, regionals, state. It's the 3 big meets left on y'all's calendar. We've run into each other once throughout this year at Highland Road Park, but in total, how would you say this season has gone?
I think it's gone really well. It's definitely been a learning situation. We lost a lot of people from the fastest team in school history last year. And so a lot of this year has been about learning. And we've gone to a lot of places to try to learn that. So we went to, I think, a really, really quality meet in Texas to start the year. We went to arguably one of the best meets in Mississippi, kind of midway through, and then we went to what I'm going to say was the best race in Louisiana last weekend when we saw you. And so I think those are really, really great checkpoints for us, and you can see that we're continuing to improve at each of those stops. And so it's been a learning experience, but it's been a fun learning experience.
You got a boys team and you have a girls team, and obviously coaching that can be fun at times. Some people are only boys or only girls, but you get both sides of it. Walk us through your teams a little bit, though. Who stands out to you so far?
Yeah, so, on the boys' side, we returned 4 really, really strong runners. Of course, Brennan Robin is our top runner. He's one of the top guys in the state, and he's one of the top guys in North Louisiana history. Behind him is Ben Rulifson, that's a senior, who's trying to run for the Air Force Academy. So he's got some smarts and some wheels, and he's been really consistent. He's qualified for the state outdoor track meet the last 2 years in the 2 mile, and so they're a strong 1-2 punch. Behind that is senior Noah Lafitte, who last year was our number 7 man for most of the year, and then when we got to the state meet, he popped off and was like our number 3 man. And so I think that gave him the excitement and kind of the courage to be one of our top guys this year. And then Aiden Onisha is one of our most consistent runners. He's a junior with Brennan. He's Brennan's training partner since they've been here. And they make a great 4. After that, we're relying on a lot of youth. And so we have a sophomore, Isaac Rulifson, who moved into our number 5 spot this weekend when we were at Catholic. And then we have a couple of freshmen out there, Landon Champagne and Braxton Thomas, that have been doing really, really great things. And they're funny because when I talked to them, I was like, hey, guys, my goal for y'all this year is to run, in the 16s for 3 mile. And they both looked at me and said, Coach, you're insane. And they were both, Landon was 5 seconds away from running the 16s for 5K last week, and Braxton was 10 seconds away from running the 16s for 5K. So it's a good group. It's a young group. Really, really excited about them. And then on our girls' side, we're led by a freshman, Kaylee Weaver, and she's absolutely incredible. Her and Kiara Jackson, who we call Kiki, are our top 2. We were missing our 3rd girl at Catholic High. Her name's Kalila Harris. She was a freshman last year. She came in this year and has really made an impact. I think those 3 are probably going to be all district and all region. And then after that, we're back to the youth story again. Our 4 and 5 girls are probably freshmen Elena Stute and Chloe Wells. And then we have junior Danny Vargas, who started running for us a year ago. And they round out a group of 6 that, with 3 freshmen counting, we had no idea what we were going to have this year, and they have been a whole lot of fun to coach. Most years it's one group's fun to coach, one group's stressing you out, and this year it's been 2 really, really fun groups to show up to practice to deal with.
There's kind of when you get to the state meet, there's a lot that goes on. It's already up there in North Louisiana, but a lot of teams from South Louisiana come up there and they really put on a show. But I always tell people, hey, you can't forget about some of these teams up in North Louisiana. You guys, Ruston, Bird, that's the big 3 kind of right there. But kind of for the people in South Louisiana who might not know, running in North Louisiana, it's got its challenge there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there have been some absolute studs that have come out of North Louisiana, boys and girls. I've had the privilege of coaching a few of them. I would think the most talented 2 girls I ever coached were Allison Ringel and Sarah Funderburk. And Allison ran for the University of Alabama. Sarah ran for LSU. They helped us win a state title in girls, which winning a public school winning a state title in 5A is dang near unheard of. And in 2013, those were our top 2 girl finishers for us to win the state title there. On the boys' side, Matt Wolf was a 5-time state champion here when I first started coaching. We've had Hayden Kingfisher, who won state in cross country in 5A. He's one of only 2 people that can say they defeated Eric Costin from St. Paul's at a 5A state championship. Hayden and Devin Keith did it, and Costin won it his freshman and senior year. So, I mean, they're incredible. And then if you look over, at the talent that, Ruston has brought year after year after year, again, they're one of the only other public schools to win a 5A state title. They did that with Dave Anderson. Dustin Cochran's group has finished second several times. And again, the talent's just loaded. Dylan Nimmers was a state champion cross country runner, and he just finished up running for LSU. Caleb Babineau was an all-state runner. Lily Garrett was an all-state runner that was incredible. The names just keep coming. And so, as far back as you can go, there's just been a sneaky little presence of North Louisiana teams, be it Ruston or Parkway. West Monroe won the boys' state title in 2015, I believe, with a team that was absolutely incredible. That was just 7 guys that rode together for a whole year, and they were the little engine that could and stuff. And so, sometimes I think people forget, and people like us in Ruston, we like to travel down south once a year so everybody can at least see that, hey, we're still there.
Well, Coach, I think you just perfectly mentioned how North Louisiana can go. We thank all of you for watching this episode of Game Changers. We thank Coach Kent Falting for joining us here on the LHSAA Network. Spencer Verret signing off.